I'm Chase, and this is my 2017 Road King with a Milwaukee-Eight 107, affectionately known as Alice. And today I have to go run an errand, and I need to get a haircut. I'm starting to look like a scummy bum. Well, either way, I don't think I look much better with a haircut or not, but I need to get a haircut. You know you need a haircut when your helmet is fitting a little bit tight. But anyways, just a quick little trip on the twisties, avoiding the horse crap and the dead animals. And onto the freeway. Let's see. So I got 238 miles before I run out of gas. So let's see. I have 6 miles on it. That would put me at yeah, I know the number's running in my head. They're crap. 238 plus 6 is, what, 244? So, means 244 miles. That was from a full tank. And, before I put a tune on this, I was getting 247. So I lost about 3 miles to the gallon. Or 3 miles to a tank. I guess that's not too bad, all things considered, because I did run a fairly heavy fuel tune on this. I'm gonna bring the hammer down real quick. Well, there goes some fuel economy right there. Ooh, boy, you can really, man, this thing really rockets, man, I'll tell you. Again, I am still thoroughly impressed with this bike. I wasn't sure about the M8. I guess that's what this video will be, is the Milwaukee-8 for me. Or you. I guess that's a decision you'll have to make on your own. Personally, I was, an older, I like the older engines. I like the twin cam. I like the Evos. I love, the shovel heads and the pan heads and the knuckle heads. They just, man, I don't know. They just, I guess it's the style. The twin cams were just, I don't know, they were kind of blocky. The Evos were a little bit too, so I guess, I mean, they were all right, I guess. But as far as style, nothing beats that knucklehead. I mean, it's just a beautiful engine. I don't know why I like the knucklehead the most, but I mean, and then probably the shovel. I hate to say, I like it more than the panhead. I don't know. I'm just a goofy guy that way. Some people like the panhead more. And then probably, yeah, the Evo. And I hate to say it, but I think the twin cams last. But if you add in the M8 for how the thing looks, I think it's called a waffle head, and you can see that it does kind of have, a little bit of, I don't know, looks a little more, I don't know, sculpted, artistic. I mean, just for looks, I like it, and I'd probably put it ahead of the Evo. And I think I like it better than the panhead, but I don't like it better than the shovel and the knuckle. Those are just, I don't know why, those just, maybe it's because when I was a kid, all the older guys, that's what they had. Well, they had Evos too, and some of them had twin cams, but, that shovel, I mean, that's what I seen everybody with, shovels. And I'm sorry, I didn't see a lot of people with the knuckleheads, but man, it's just so I don't know, well sculpted and beautiful. So I guess it's about a 3 on the scale. You know, with the knucklehead being 1, the shovel being 2, and this waffle head, the waffle head, being number 3. That's weird that you can go and look at Harley engines, and there really have only been so many designs for the, you know, for the engine. Now that new Revolution Max, it's surgical and soulless looking. I mean, it's a great motor, but it just, I don't know, it doesn't, I don't know, feel artistic to me or stir anything in me. It just, it's kind of like the newer liquid-cooled motors from Indian. They're just meh. They're industrial and I don't know. Now, as far as performance, I've ridden Evos, I've ridden twin cams, I've never ridden the others. Well, I can't say that I've never ridden on the others. My aunt married a guy. He had a shovel, and as a kid, I went for a ride on the back of one. That was, in fact, that was the first time I think I ever seen a motorcycle and wanted one. It was really cool. I think it was in one of the last of the FXRs, I think, somewhere around there before they switched over to the Evos. It was a cool ass bike. But yeah, power-wise, sorry, the march of time, you get more horsepower and, the size, the, cubic inches and stuff like that. So power-wise, I'm sorry, you just can't beat this engine. You just can't beat that Milwaukee-8. It really is a just torquey monster engine. So, but is it right for you? I don't know. I've looked at some videos about, people working on it and stuff. It does look a little more, I don't know, complicated than, say, well, it's not more complicated. It's got different complications than a twin cam. So, I mean, it's literally a single cam engine instead of a twin cam. So there's at least one less part there. I went from a 103 twin cam to this one, to the Milwaukee-8 107. I have ridden my cousin's 114. Honestly, unless I was ringing the 114 out above $4,000, I think it's because the gear ratios on this, they're a little bit lower, so the bike, I don't know, it gets off the line seemingly as quick. For aftermarket, I think the twin cam may have an advantage though. So if you want the biggest aftermarket that you can get, you might go twin cam, I think. I think it's got, more parts availability. Now, as time goes on, that's not going to be true because the Milwaukee-8 is, it's so torquey and just so much better than the twin cam, at least for power wise. Now, that's saying that my 103 only had a stage 1 and this 107 only has a stage 1. So in direct comparison, this is the more powerful motor, hands down, easily. So let's see, for looks, I'd say it's about third. I mean, if that's what you're into, looks, sorry man, you're gonna get more attention with the more looks, more attention, and I'm sorry, the I don't know, in the artistic, I don't know, beauty department, you're gonna get, I don't know, the motors look better, the knucklehead and the shovel, I think, look better. A polished pan isn't bad either. Polished pan isn't bad, but I think this looks better than the pan and everything else. For horsepower, torque, sorry, this is the motor to beat. Even with torque, it's still the motor to beat. it has more torque than the Revolution Max, the Rev Max. So now the Rev Max will beat it in horsepower by about 50 probably. So I mean that kind of sucks, but I mean, what are you going to do? It's a different kind of engine, so as far as torque, it's going to be hard to beat one of these. Parts availability, not as good as the twin cam, might be better than everything else because people aren't making as much stuff for those older motors as they are for the newer stuff. Not that you can't find repop, repro, reproduction parts for those. They seem to be, you know, people seem to be still building them, so. And they're well made. Reliability. Now, if it was the first couple years, they seem to have some iffy reliability problems, but after talking to a few Harley mechanics, the problem seems to be when people start doing big bore upgrades and not changing out the oil pump. These did have some problems with oil seepage, but this one's had the work done. It's had the fixes done to it already. I did check that. There was a problem with the oil cooler line leaking. That's already been fixed on this. It's been taken care of, so. If you get a late 2019, early 2020 or later, all those problems will be taken care of, so. Now, earlier twin cams will have problems, later twin cams won't. I think late 96s and above won't. So reliability, I would put it lower than the later twin cams. Not by much, but yeah. And reliability compared to Evos and stuff, Evos are pretty reliable motors. I'd say they're about the same. You know, older motors with a ton of miles are not going to be reliable. And as far as reliability when they came out, it's comparatively, I think they might actually be a more reliable motor. But I mean, you're not gonna. It's going to be hard to beat a brand spanking new rebuilt motor, especially even if it's like a panhead or, you know, a knucklehead or an Evo or a shovel. I mean, something that's freshly brand new rebuilt, perfectly spec'd. That's going to be a hard motor to beat. But if you're talking about comparing when they first came out to now, I'm going to say this is probably somewhere between second and third of, you know, like the Evos and twin cams. They were fairly reliable motors. Other than that, honestly, I don't know. I mean, the rest of it is really depends on what you're into. I mean, if you want to hop up a motor, I've seen there's a company that makes heads that go up to 151 or 150 cubic inches, somewhere around there, and we're talking about 200 horse and 200 foot-pounds of torque. And that's before there's Trask that puts turbos on you know, Harley motors. I mean, you can do a lot of different stuff. I mean, even with just a cam in a 107 and an intake and exhaust, just turns it into a beast. So it's going to be hard to beat. Should you go with an M8? I don't know. That's up to you to decide. I thought I was going to be happy with a twin cam, but once you take one of these Milwaukee-8s for a test ride, even, I mean, look, it's a 107. I took a 114 and then tried a 107 out, and I was still perfectly happy with a 107. Now, I'm not trying to, you know, hop this thing up to his, you know, monster proportions or anything. I just want something that's going to be pretty reliable and have decent torque and horsepower, and the Milwaukee-8 107 fulfills that easily. But I guess that's, well, I mean, that's, like I said, it's up to you to decide what you want. But, me personally, I went with the M8 after trying it out. And I think it was the right decision. So, I guess that's going to be all. Should you go with an M8? Well, like I said, depends on what you want. But like, comment, subscribe, flick that dingling if you want to be notified of any new videos I come out with. You know, that bell. It really helps with the YouTube algorithm. And bye, y'all.